Welcome to this demonstration of BELLEROPHON. My name is Hugh Rowlands and I'm the Technical Support Manager here at Argonaut Systems in Cardiff. Although information on our product has previously been discussed, we hope this short video will give you a better insight into our system. BELLEROPHON is an enterprise management system that was originally designed on a generic level, enabling us to easily customize the product to seamlessly slot into the many different fields of business. As we mentioned during our conference call, the system's debut installation was at a large homeware manufacturer in the UK back in 2006, and this proved to be a huge success, and they are still our clients today. Before the development of BELLEROPHON, our company's main products focused on vessel planning and ship stability systems for the maritime industry on a global scale. And it's in this line of business that BELLEROPHON really took off as the terminal operating system of ports from around the world. So the prospect of taking our enterprise management system into the dental world is a particularly exciting one for us, and we are confident it will provide you with exactly what you need. So let's take a quick look at the front end of the system. It's modular in design. The list of modules, submodules and screens appearing on the left, and the main data displays are to the right in the larger section of the screen. Since going through the Salute system with you, I think it would probably be best if we use this video to focus on BELLEROPHON's ability to break down and record the work carried out within a dental organization and then associate this work with a cost and a price. So the organization using the system will be defined in terms of the company, its divisions and its business units and sub-business units. So we'll just take a brief look at that in the systems options screen. And here you can see the company and the division. And here we have the 3 business units. And for each of the business units, we have sub-business units. And I've also used BELLEROPHON's customers module to record the basic individual patient data in terms of name and address, etc. So as you can see, I've just used simple test data in the form of our team, as well as a John and Jane Doe. So that basic information then is carried through in terms of an address and a contact detail. As we mentioned previously, BELLEROPHON is an operations-driven system. This means that for the physical work carried out within a business is represented in the form of an operation. And these are defined in BELLEROPHON's operations setup module. So we'll just have a quick look at that. And the demo data that I have used is for a generic dental practice. So I've defined quite a few of these operations for each of the 3 business units. So this is the restorative business unit here. And as you can see, each operation has a wealth of setup criteria so that it can be effectively locked down and applied to the right patient at the right time. So we'll just take a look at the others as well. The craniofacial ones, and finally the maxillofacial. Okay, the operation is defined in terms of the average length of time it takes to complete the work on a patient, but it's in the operational details tab that we can really break down the data corresponding to the completion of the work. For each operation, the resources are specified, and this includes each of the job roles required and each item of equipment that needs to be used. The costs and prices are then automatically pulled through from the modules that define those items, but these can also be manually amended here. For each job role and each staff member, you get to define those in the personnel module. So we'll just take a brief look at this. Here you can see that I've recorded various people for this demo, and and we'll just take a brief look at one of them. I've kept it pretty minimal. I've just put an image in, a date of birth and a name. But as you can see, there's many tabs associated with each individual. Job details, training, sickness, holidays, absenteeism. Going back to the operation, each item of equipment is also defined in the equipment module. And here we can see a few of the pieces that I've again recorded for this video. And the stock items used in the organization, such as the crowns and the fill-ins, are defined in BELLEROPHON's products module. And this screen is very similar to the equipment screen that we're looking at now, so we'll just take a brief look at that. And here we can see a stainless steel crown. Going into a bit more detail, you can see the dimensions and the weight, and also how much you've got in stock and where. BELLEROPHON uses the concept of orders to assign operations and products to a patient. So let's take a look at the orders screen. To help demonstrate the basic data flow, I've added a few orders here. So let's open up the first one. As you can see, the patient in question is my good friend and colleague, Mr. Jason Davis, and he's at the Argonaut Dental Practice to have a crown. The main information tab records the data we've just been looking at, the division, the business unit, and the sub-business unit, as well as the date of the appointment. And here we can see the product being used, a stainless steel crown, which is taken from our stock. And here we can see that the crown caps operation has been added and scheduled accordingly. The status of this particular order is complete, telling us that the patient has received the treatment and the procedure is complete. So if we now move across to the pricing tab, we can see that the invoice boxes have been automatically populated with the amount corresponding to the price for each resource used in the procedure. Although these costs and prices are pulled through from the operation setup screen, they can be updated to compensate for any outside factors. Also having an impact on the billing elements within the system is the discounts and agreements screen for each customer, as well as the customer type field. As you can see, I have two customer types, NHS and private. As BELLEROPHON enables the user to define the population of these drop-down lists on site, these values can be amended by preference. The discount screen here enables the setup and definition of any type of patient discount. And it can be as generic or as detailed as required. These discounts and agreements can then be automatically applied to the orders concerned and the procedures and treatment provided to the clients. So let's take a deeper look into how BELLEROPHON can break down the work being carried out by a dental organization to a level where everything is associated with a cost, a price, and a time. Within BELLEROPHON's production module, you have the ability to define processes and process chains. A process in BELLEROPHON is a production timeline where you start with one product and end up with another different product. This will work very well with a lot of the workflows within the dental and healthcare industry in general. Here I've defined two processes, each corresponding to the separate stages of administering a crown to a patient. Crown stage 1 covers the workflow involved in the initial examination of the patient, the filing down of the tooth or the filling of the tooth in preparation for the crown, the taking of the impression of the tooth to be passed to the lab, and finally the capping of the tooth using a temporary crown. As you can see, our starting product is the tooth and the end product is the temporarily crowned tooth. The system enables the various parts of this flow to be defined in terms of the average time, the average cost, and the average price, as well as the equipment used and any additional products that are required. Crown stage 2 covers the workflow involved in the second patient appointment, which covers the removal of the temporary crown and the examination of the tooth and the application of the permanent crown. This time our starting product is the temporarily crowned tooth, and our end product is the permanently crowned tooth. Once again, we define the process to a very low level, including the time and the instruments involved to remove the temporary crown. The cleansing of the area and the capping of the tooth and the stainless steel crown are also defined. Both of these processes can be included under a process chain and linked to a patient within an order. So let's take a look at that order now. And this time, as you can see, it's Steve who's having the crown. So we'll just load up that order. And this time we'll visit the Pack and Assembly tab. And we can see that the crown caps operation has been applied to the crown stage 1 process. The bill of materials grid view shows us the stock products used in the procedure. I've used a fairly generic name for my storage areas, but the system's business design module can actually use latitude and longitude data to draw your premises, which does come in handy. Once again, the status of this order is complete. And as you can see in the pricing tab, the invoice boxes have been populated accordingly. Now that the first stage of this particular procedure is complete, I think it's worth stopping by BELLEROPHON's Business Intelligence module. This group of screens provides the users with an extremely powerful tool that maximizes the system's automation, and which in turn helps minimize the required user intervention in terms of keystrokes and mouse clicks. Here we have the rule which looks at the completed stage 1 crown caps operations of a patient. When the operation is assigned a completion code, the rule automatically fires the crown stage 2 action. And this action auto-populates the designated patient report. And this report can be automatically sent using a range of different methods. As well as report production and transmission, the actions can also automatically create new orders corresponding to the patient data. And we can round things off by taking a look at the second order. And this is where Steve has returned to have his temporary crown removed and his actual stainless steel crown fitted. Again, if we move over to the Pack and Assembly tab, we can see that the crown stage 2 process has been applied, which includes the actual crown and the required adhesive. Once again, this order has been completed, so the pricing tab can tell us the total amounts. Although the coming together of our systems may not require the display of this level of workflow and billing orientated data at the front end, it may be worth mentioning that the data in all of BELLEROPHON's grid views, rows and columns, filters and fields can be easily dragged and dropped into standard and customized reports and dashboards, and can also be exported in any format to any application at the click of a mouse. I hope you've enjoyed this mini presentation of BELLEROPHON, and please don't hesitate to contact us if you'd like more information or if you'd like more videos focusing on any of the aforementioned modules in more detail.